Hey YouTube, welcome to Let's Talk. I am not by myself this time, and I'm going to let himself introduce himself.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Trevor, and today I'm here on a video that is not my own.
Yeah, he's decided to come in on my Let's Talk for this week. As you can see from your screen right now, it is over Mega Lucario. I just found the picture that you're seeing on Google, and it's like from Reddit or DeviantArt or something like that. So basically what we're going to be doing today is talking about Mega Lucario and like its quote-unquote brokenness. Triple believes it's broken, I believe it's not, and we're going to probably like justify one way or the other, possibly go over some movesets, obviously its stats, and anything else that Triple can think of, really.
Okay, wait, so I'm responsible for everything we're saying this. Oh, God.
Well, if you can think of anything to add or whatever.
Okay, so just start off with what you wanted to say. Why is it not broken in your eyes?
Well, in my eyes, really, Lucario just has these crappy defenses. I'm actually going to pull up his stats right now. And as you can see on your screen right now, well, Triple can't, but I can. He's got an 88 defense and 70 special defense after Mega Evolution.
I'm not sure that I can also see it.
Oh, you're on.
I put him up in the team builder just to look at his stats.
Yeah, I'm actually on Cerebi looking at it.
Okay.
But basically, that's why I believe it's not broken. If he gets hit by like an earthquake, it's done. If he gets hit by an earth power even, it's done. Any ground move is going to destroy it. And before Mega evolves, it's got that 90 base speed, so it's going to be outsped by quite a bit. So really, that's my main argument for why it's not broken.
But the problem isn't that it gets outsped, because it has a ton of priority, and especially with the adaptability once it Mega evolves. Like, can name one thing. If you set up an SD and you are the guy with the Mega Lucario.
Yeah.
You switch it into something that can knock one and KO Lucario. So you Mega Evolve, you Swords Dance, I send in my Landorus, then it already gets outsped the turn after, unless I have a Scarf Landorus, but then you have a +2 adaptability Bullet Punch.
Yeah,
so
but
basically you have to sack something in order to defeat it, and if you have to sack Pokemon to have a chance of beating something that has adaptability priority and both physical and special obliteration with Aura Sphere and close combat and all those coverage moves he has, then I think it's just not an OU material.
so you're saying that it's Ubers, right?
Well, I think the fact it isn't Ubers is where it should be, yeah.
Well, I actually recorded this earlier, I think I told you, and I had actually made an argument as to why it wasn't completely broken, and I went on with counters for it. And one Pokemon that stood out above everything was actually Crobat, and Crobat's actually fairly common. It can take
Okay, wait, how is Crobat a counter?
because it can take a +2 Bullet Punch, as you were just saying. That's like its biggest threat.
If you come in a rocks, you die.
Well, yes, but
If
I
it
mean,
takes an Ice Punch, it dies.
I don't think it dies from an Ice Punch.
If it's a +2 Ice Punch, it dies. And Ice Punch plus Bullet Punch KOs it, and what is it gonna do back? I mean, Brave Bird does like 84%.
Yeah, it's gonna pretty much take it out. There's a pretty good chance of that happening.
Well, maybe if it's Choice Bandit it is, but if
Well,
you have a Choice Bandit Crobat, you have to invest only 4 HP EVs, and then Mega Lucario is still gonna destroy it with Ice Punch or something along those lines. And if you have to count on a UU Pokemon to counter Mega Lucario, I mean, it would be basically the same thing with Pinsir. I could say Rhyperior counters it because it has Solid Rock, and I mean, Rhyperior is more reliable than Crobat as a counter to something, but eh.
yeah, but Rhyperior obviously can't take anything from a Mega Lucario, but really
Okay,
that's just...
So the one counter you were saying to Mega Lucario that stands out is Choice Bandit Crobat?
That was the first thing that came to mind anyway.
But it's not a guaranteed one-hit KO.
No, it's not, obviously, but obviously it's not a guaranteed one-hit KO for Mega Lucario, and, like, Crobat outspeeds it, so...
What if you have a Stealth Rock?
Well, that's your problem, and you should figure out how to get rid of him first.
Okay. I mean, then, yeah. So you have to get rid of Stealth Rock, while I'm sitting here with a Mega Lucario that could still set up a Swords Dance, and you do have to switch in Crobat to knock it out.
Well, you see, this is where the whole speeding comes from, and like the whole defensive thing. It's not gonna live, and if you're good at predictions, you're gonna like predict him to Swords Dance or whatever and hit with your first Pokemon that before you switch out.
Lucario has a 56 or 57% chance of living a Choice Banded Crobat's Brave Bird.
Did you calc it or something?
That's not really worth the gamble if you're in a position that you have to one-hit KO the Mega Lucario.
True. And something that I just now realized that also Victini is a pretty good one for it, and Victini is actually fairly common, even though it is UU.
Well, Victini is a good Pokemon.
Because I'm not entirely sure, but I think it can take a +2 close combat. But it wouldn't matter because with a Scarf it would outspeed, and that's its main moveset is Scarf, so.
But then again, what if it doesn't outspeed?
Well, you're screwed.
What if I run Sticky Web?
Well, that's the same thing with the Stealth Rocks. You gotta get rid of them.
So
or just not let them get set up in the first place.
If I have a Mega Lucario and you have a so-called counter or check to Mega Lucario, you have to make sure you sack something to it and then get a free switch into the counter, and you have to make sure there are no hazards on the field if you do so.
Well, yes, but that's like that's everything, though.
Doesn't sound like Mega Lucario is not broken.
That's everything, though. Like,
no.
Yeah. You have to make sure that you don't have entry hazards on your field.
Other Pokemon can still switch in on hits. That's why you have Gliscor to take a hit from... Like, you have a Gliscor to take a hit from Crobat or something. I'm just naming Crobat because it was a discussed Pokemon, but... What else do you even... Yeah. I mean, Lucario could be either physical or special, or it could even be mixed. So you basically couldn't send in any walls, and you have to send in a Pokemon that outspeeds it and can actually one-hit KO it, and that's basically only Scarfed Victini being, provide there's no Sticky Web on the field.
Yeah. And then you also raised up a good point about the whole Lucario being able to do special and physical. That does make it hard to have a counter in mind, because like Gliscor can take a physical hit, but not necessarily an Ice Punch, but which you brought up earlier. But
once you sack one Pokemon and know whether it's physical or special, or think you know, like what if I have a specially defensive Gastrodon? It goes for close combat, takes it out. I'm like, oh, it's physical. I go to my like Skarmory, I don't know. I'm like, now I can Brave Bird it to kill it because its defense is dropped, and it goes for Aerosphere and it KOs that thing too.
I don't think Aerosphere can take out a Skarmory, though.
Yeah, but it's not gonna carry double fighting stab as a mixed Pokemon, but it's just imagine.
But like, how often do you see a mixed Mega Lucario at least? I know I've seen mixed regular ones.
On my side of the field, I see it a lot because they use it.
Mostly you'll see Nasty Plot in 3 attacks or Swords Dance in 3 attacks, but you usually
if they don't take the turn to set up. You switch into Crobat thinking they're gonna Swords Dance and then get KO'd by the Brave Bird, while you also knock yourself out with the recoil if they go for Extreme Speed or Bullet Punch, and then they actually go straight for the Ice Punch, predicting your Crobat.
Well, I don't know. Can Crobat take an uninvested one?
Well, not if it's, well, if it can take one if it's not a +2, but then with the Bullet Punch or Extreme Speed on top of that, it's, like, done for.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. How many people actually run Ice Punch on Mega Lucario? I see mostly Bullet Punch, Close Combat, and Extreme Speed as the 3 attacks.
Yeah, you've seen mostly Crunch because of H-Slash, like when it wasn't banned yet, but...
Yeah, because of that King Shield coming in handy there.
But then there is the case that Basically, if you have to either sack multiple Pokemon and get rid of hazards before you have a chance of defeating Mega Lucario, or if you have to predict all around Lucario and completely outplay your opponent, then I don't think Mega Lucario is really fit to be in OU if there's no true safe switch into it.
Well, then what are we talking about, like Talonflame then? Because there's not really a safe switch there either, but I mean, with every Pokemon, there's not 100% safe switch either.
I mean, at least Talonflame has like reliable checks like Rotom Wash and Heatran, even though they still take like 40% from a Choice Banded Brave Bird. You can set up Stealth Rock, Talonflame loses half of his health. That's the one thing that kind of stops Talonflame from spamming Brave Bird too often or too much. But then, yeah, Mega Lucario also quad resists hazards.
Except spikes, obviously.
Sticky Web doesn't stop its adaptability priorities. And it cannot get poisoned by toxic spikes, and then you have... I mean, if you know it's a physical Lucario, then you'd have a reliable check in, like, Chestnut or something, but if it's special, then you're still in trouble.
Yeah, so I think we should just agree to disagree on the whole, if it's broken or not, and move on to our next topic on it.
Well, there was one thing that made it less broken. If you didn't have Sticky Web on your side of the field, you could just send in Scarf Genesect after sacking a Pokemon and either Flamethrower to KO it or U-turn out if your opponent had a Heatran. That kinda threatened out the Mega Lucario, and that is basically the only thing until Genesect went to Ubers, and then you'd have like Lucario. Had it still been in OU, it would have... I mean, it wouldn't have made a big difference, but I think Lucario would still have been a big threat, if not even bigger, because of Genesect having been gone.
Yeah. I think we should talk about our favorite sets. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and say what your favorite set is. Like, just give the brief overview and really just say why you like it and whatnot.
I think I'm gonna go with Hidden Power Ice, Dark Pulse, Close Combat, Bullet Punch.
So a mixed set?
Yes. It is no setup, so it kind of lacks power, but then again, Mega Lucario itself is already powerful, and then I just don't want my attack drop to make my opponent think they're safe, so I run Hidden Power Ice.
Yeah, I can see that. Really, my favorite set to use on it is like a Nasty Plot, and then Flash Cannon, Aura Sphere, and then your choice of coverage move, because it gets a lot of special attacks.
I once ran Earthquake.
Earthquake?
Yeah, for H-Slash. It would come in, you have 145 attack, and instead of having to run Dark Pulse or predicting run King Shield with Crunch, you just go for Earthquake.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a really good idea to stop H-Slash countering you or whatever. I know on Poke Battle I used a counter Skarmory that just took out Lucario. It was quite interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, was this the discussion or what?
What do you mean?
I don't know. What else do you want to address, or are we done? Are there any more counters or checks to Lucario you'd like to point out?
Let's see. I don't really think that there's anything else that comes to my mind as in terms of Pokemon that can at least somewhat stall or stop Lucario. I think that possibly there are a few, like maybe Prankster Sableye, but I don't know.
That too is a gimmick, and you could still Flash Cannon.
True.
Yeah, so Lucario is unstoppable.
I guess it just really depends on what set the guy has or whatever. Because I mean, if it's special, you can't really do much about it unless you have like a really good special wall and priority or stuff like that. If it's physical, you can burn it or whatever, but really it just depends on the set.
Okay, so I gotta go make some strawberries, or not make them, but it's kind of my dinner.
Alright, well, go ahead and give your final thoughts or whatever. And
My final thought is that it was really broken in OU, but it's not really that great in Ubers unless it fits on your team. I mean, it has to start off with a base speed of 90, so it's not like broken in Ubers anymore, and it fits there, but it's not along the lines of Arceus and such being a top tier Uber Pokemon.
So you're saying lower to middle tier Ubers?
Yeah, it's a bit like one of the things you want to watch out for, but then again, if you have somewhat of a weakness to it, it doesn't really matter because, yeah, there are better Uber Pokemon, and then you, like, Arceus can outspeed it if you run Jolly, E-Killer, and then Earthquake just destroys it.
Yeah. So, YouTube, that's been our Let's Talk for the week. We'll leave you guys to do comments in the section. Just give us your thoughts. I'm sure Triple and I will continue our conversation in the comment section as we think of stuff and whatnot. But basically, that's been our Let's Talk. If you liked it, go and leave a like. If you like Triple, you can subscribe to him. And if you like me and want to see more, you can go and subscribe to me. That's all your choice. And until later, peace out.
Bye-bye.